The first thing that I wanted to bring your attention to is breathing. Israel Regardie gives quite a detailed explanation of how you should breathe in his book, The Middle Pillar. And he recommends this thing that he calls rhythmic breathing before you even start doing the Middle Pillar ritual. Rhythmic breathing is actually a very potent practice, and I try to do a little bit of it at least before any practice that I do. So before an LBRP, before evoking a planetary spirit, whatever it is, I do a little bit of this rhythmic breathing. And the way it's done is that you breathe in for a certain number of beats and then you breathe out for a certain number of beats. Now you might pause after your in-breath or pause after your out-breath. There are variations that you can do, but the very basic, most simple version is where you just put 2 fingers to your throat where you can feel your pulse and you count 4 heartbeats to breathe in and 4 heartbeats to breathe out. And you do this until you feel at peace and fully focused. There's another version that I particularly enjoy where you breathe in for 6 beats, you hold your breath for 3 beats without blocking your breath but just not breathing out, and then you breathe out for 6 beats and you hold your breath on the out breath for 3 further beats. So in for 6, hold for 3, out for 6, hold for 3. When I started out doing this, I found it particularly difficult, and so I did in for 4, hold for 2, out for 4, hold for 2. It comes to the same thing. Okay, so let's get a quick rundown of what the ritual actually looks like. The first thing that is done is that the sphere of Kether is imagined just above the head as a sphere of brilliant white light. The name of God attributed to Kether is then vibrated. That means that you say it in a loud, deep, resonating voice. Israel Regardie suggests that if you do this often enough, you can make your voice resonate in different parts of your body. If you can do that, you're cleverer than I am. The name of God that is resonated in Kether is E-He-Yeh. Something like that. Now, are you facing east or west? Depending on what you're reading. The Golden Dawn say west, Israel Regardie says east. It probably doesn't matter all that much. However, the assumption is that you have just completed a Kabbalistic cross and the LBRP. And if you're not completely familiar with what those are, I've put some links down in the description. So, after you've completed your Kabbalistic cross and your LBRP, you are probably facing east, and you are vibrating the name Ehyeh as you visualize this sphere of white, brilliant light above your head. You would vibrate the name of God several times. Regardie recommends 3 or 4 times. You then visualize that white light remaining above your head, but also descending through your core, right? So it's up here, right? And through your core down to your throat. All right, so in fact the sphere slightly protrudes out of your throat, and here you would call the name of God associated with Darth. And the name of God associated to Darth, well, there's no name of God associated to Darth, and therefore it's shared with the name of God associated to Tifereth, and that is Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. And you can pronounce that Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, or you can pronounce it Yehovo or Yehovah, however you wish. I've seen all 3 versions being used. But this one is distinguished from the version down in Tifereth, in the center, in the solar plexus here, by adding Elohim. So it's Yehovo Elohim. Yehovo Elohim is the way that I pronounce it. You could say Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh Elohim or Yehovah Elohim, as you wish. You then imagine this sphere of light descending to your solar plexus. Right, so it's actually quite a large sphere of light in your solar plexus. Right, so it goes forward a little over here, and it protrudes quite a lot. And here, the name of God associated is, as I've already said, Yehovo, or Yod-He-Vav-He. But here we add Eloah, Ve'dath. So Yehovo, Eloah, Ve'dath. So over and over again you vibrate this name of God as you focus on the light that's in your solar plexus. Yehovo, Eloah, Ve'dath. Yehovo, Eloah, Ve'dath. Okay, over and over again. Until you feel that that center here is well established and glowing very well. All of these previous spheres of light still remain, you still visualize them in place, but you imagine this light also descending towards your genitals. There we go. And here, so it's approximately the same size as the sphere in Tiphereth. All right, so this is Yesod. Yesod is a sphere associated to the moon. So it's the generative organs, and the name of God associated here is Shaddai El Hai. So it's Shaddai El Hai. There we go. So over and over again, and then you visualize the light descending between your feet and creating a globe of light between your feet, the top of which would be at around your ankles, and the bottom of which would be actually under the floor. All right, so the center is between your feet, and half of it is above ground and half of it is below ground. And this is Malkuth, so it's the sphere of earth. And the name of God associated here is Adonai Haaretz. Adonai Haaretz. There we go. So you'd vibrate that name several times. By this time you have a column of light going from above your head all the way down into the ground between your feet. This is the middle column. It's the middle column of the tree of life, with Kether, Daath, Tiphereth, Yesod, and Malkuth. Now, Israel Regardie points out that you could make some loose connection with the chakra system. The chakra system's got 7 centers, and they actually start at the base, at the sacrum, and they end just above the head over here. So you could say that while the idea is similar, it's not really the same system, and trying to map one for one between systems, it doesn't work. I'll probably make another video about that, actually, because it's an interesting and important point. All right, now for part 2 of the ritual. And for part 2 of the ritual, I'm going to need to turn the sheet over because you're going to need to see yourself from behind, because the left and right actually matters here. If we have you like this, then everything would have to be mirrored because your right arm would be over here, which you're seeing to your left on your screen. So that doesn't help. So if I turn it round like this, so you can imagine that on the other side of this person's face there are the eyes over here. That looks really spooky, actually. So this way you can have the left side on the left side to your screen and the right side on the right side to your screen, so it all makes sense. Now, you have Kether up here, and you need to imagine that light going down through your left side of your body, all right? All the way down the left side of your body, down through the floor, and back up through your sole of your right foot, and up through the right side of your body. Right, so this is the direction. And back up the right-hand side. And you imagine that light circulating So once you've done this several times, you start imagining also that the light is going down the front of your body and back up the back of your body, right? So in this direction and back up the back. So both of these are happening at the same time. Down your left side and up your right, and down the front and up the back. And finally, the last thing to happen is that you remember you still have the sphere of Malkut between your feet. The light comes out of Malkut and goes towards your left foot and upwards. Like this, all around you. All the way up to the top. So I've made quite a large spiral here, right? But it should actually be quite tight. So around and around and around and around, going quite fast. All the while, this first direction of the light is going round, this second direction of the light is going round, and then this one spirals further and further upwards, all the way around you, up to the top, until you reach the very top. At that point, you can go back to rhythmic breathing, and you can let all the visualization fade away. You can do another LBRP, another Kabbalistic cross, and that should be the end of the practice. There we go. I hope that was useful to some of you. Don't hesitate to check out The Middle Pillar by Israel Regardie. It really is the authority in terms of performing the middle pillar. It's very well written, it's very well annotated. Chick and Sandra Tabitha Cicero have done a fantastic job of making everything clear in the notes and adding their own perspective. It's a fantastic book, and I actually do recommend getting it as a Kindle edition.